All right, let's go back to our top story that talks about the Junta-Led governments of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger exiting the Economic Community of West African States, that's ECOWAS. And we have global affairs analyst Bayolo Ake joining us to talk more on this latest development. Talk to us. It's good to have you join us on the news at 10. Talk to us about what you think about this exit.
Thank you very much for having me. I think it's not pleasant news at all, even though we know that ECOWAS has had some difficulties in its relations with this particular three countries of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. There is actually a fourth country, which is Guinea, but it is very interesting to observe that Guinea is not part of this pullout from ECOWAS. Nonetheless, I think that it's, like I said, it's not pleasant news. And this withdrawal today, as announced by those three countries, could actually signpost their frustrations with ECOWAS, and conversely, ECOWAS's own frustrations with them as well. You will recall that the Economic Community of West African States has suspended all three countries due to the unconstitutional change of power. You would also recall that ECOWAS has been working with these three countries as well as Guinea-Conakry to try to have a transition program that would see an immediate return to democratic governance. But of course, there have been some hiccups in that process. And the announcement of these three countries that they are pulling out of ECOWAS, I think it's probably a sign that no progress has been achieved in the relationship between them and ECOWAS with regard to return to constitutional order. Now, having announced their withdrawal, there will be issues around whether they have complied with the requirements of the ECOWAS protocol regarding any member state wishing to vacate its treaty obligations to ECOWAS. I doubt that they have fulfilled these requirements, but nonetheless, as sovereign states, they have the prerogative to be part of any regional, continental, or global body, as well as to vacate their membership of such bodies. The exit of the three, as worrisome as it may be, still nonetheless, in my view, holds out some hope that there could be a rapprochement. And I say this because Guinea, which is critical to the survival of Burkina Faso and Mali, because Guinea is the only coastal state, the only littoral state, through which these two other countries that are landlocked can actually access the Atlantic Ocean. Guinea has not pulled out of ECOWAS. For Niger, if it wishes to maintain its relationship with the international system, would either have to access ports through Benin Republic or Nigeria, both of which, of course, suspended relations with it, or will choose to now access ports through Algeria. And the ports in Algeria are extremely far from Niger. So I think that this is perhaps an attempt to up the ante in their relationship with ECOWAS and try to force some sort of rapprochement.
But we saw in the statement that in response to the withdrawal from these three countries, well, ECOWAS had said that with these three countries, that Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali remain important members of the community, and that the authority remains committed to finding a negotiated solution to the political impasse. That's what the statement reads. But I want to ask, what do you think, what went wrong with the negotiations between ECOWAS and these three countries?
I think at this stage, of course, we can only speculate and make informed, informed speculations. But a few things are quite clear. Number one, ECOWAS was not happy at the rupturing of constitutional order. Secondly, ECOWAS wanted a short-term transition program, which the chairperson of ECOWAS, President Bola Tinubu, re-emphasized at the 64th Extraordinary Summit of ECOWAS held in Abuja not too long ago, and actually extended an olive branch to these countries by saying that if they adopted a short transition program, ECOWAS was willing to support them, to ensure that they not only remain vibrant members of the community, but that they can return to democracy very soon. And then thirdly, there is this lingering problem of insurgency in Mali, in Burkina Faso in particular, and to some extent in Niger. And, the Mali and Burkina Faso particularly may have been unhappy that ECOWAS did not make any effort to strengthen their resistance and onslaught against the insurgency that has ravaged their territories. Some of us actually had suggested that ECOWAS should perhaps consider deploying maybe a brigade-sized force into Burkina Faso, into Mali as well, to secure the capitals of those countries and free up Malian and Burkinabe soldiers to join their counterparts that are confronting insurgents in the outskirts of their capital cities. But of course, ECOWAS in its own wisdom perhaps never thought that was feasible. So I feel that these three key points could have largely influenced the decision that has been taken. But if we go deeply again, into those decisions and to look at what I consider perhaps to be the fact that perhaps they are just grandstanding and trying to put themselves in a position to negotiate with ECOWAS from a stronger perspective. One would recall that the three countries together have a GDP of about $86 billion. They are all landlocked countries. Niger has no access to the sea. Burkina Faso has no access to the sea. Neither does Mali. So this puts them in a very precarious situation. And so I feel that perhaps they are expressing their anger and their frustration by announcing this withdrawal and hoping that they can force some sort of rapprochement with ECOWAS to see things from their perspectives and to re-establish or to reorder the basis of the negotiations that have been going on between all three and the regional bloc.
Of course, in the coming days, we'll see what the potential impact will be on the regional stability and cooperation in the West African region. Global Affairs Analyst Bayo Oluwo Ake, thank you so much for talking to us on TV's News at 10.
It's my pleasure.